So welcome to the second part of our lesson on the Pomodoro Learning method. So in the last class, I gave you a foundation, right, of what the Pomodoro Learning method is and then how you can use it. So today we want to see how we can adapt the Pomodoro Learning method into your daily study routine. So we are looking at your basic subjects, right? How can I use Pomodoro to study when I'm studying my math, my English, my chemistry, my economics, and all of that? That is what we are doing today, right? So why subject-based practice matters. I'm going to teach you that Pomodoro in biology, in mathematics, in English language, and I'm going to teach you a summary, right, of applications. So for today, it's going to be a bit practical. After watching this video, if you have any questions, please drop it in the comment section. I promise I'm going to go back to it and I'm going to explain it to you. I'll take out my time to record a video answering each of your questions. It is very important to me that you understand these learning methods and then you are able to put them to practice. It is very important to me. So I will never be tired of answering your questions. All right, so let's go into it. Now, why do we think subject-based practical application matters? Number one, different subjects require different cognitive skills. So the skills you need to understand math is a bit different from the one you need to understand English. You all know that. That's why you will see some people, they are very good when it comes to things that talk about calculations. They are very good. When it comes to things that don't require calculation, they might not be very good at it. Like I told you in one of my previous classes, when I was talking to you about your brain has enough neural connections, enough connections for you to understand everything. At least, even if it is not, even if you are not going to kind of develop a career in those things, but you can understand them to an excellent level because your brain has a capacity, right? So some people prefer maybe calculation based, reading based. That is why for Pomodoro it is important for us to be subject based because of the difference in the cognitive skills. Number two, customizing Pomodoro makes it more effective. So the way I'm going to customize Pomodoro for biology will not be the way I'm going to customize it for mathematics. So if I want to study mathematics, for example, let me just preempt myself a bit. I might not start from the point of putting things into practice. I might start from the point of probably conceptualizing the entire thing. But if I want to study economics with a Pomodoro, I might start with putting it into practice, right? So it depends on me, my level of comprehension, and and the way I interpret information. It is important for us to make this as subject-based as possible. So let's start with biology. Biology is the study of life. All right, we're ready. So if you want to use Pomodoro for biology, what do? So I want to study parts of a plant cell. So we have the cell membranes and all of that, the plant cell. If I were to do it today, the first thing I'm going to do, because I said Pomodoro is very effective when you're having your personal study. So what I will do is probably watch a video for my first Pomodoro. Or I'll get an explainer script and read it. Now, why do I prefer a video? Because it's biology. And it's more relatable when I see the picture. So I'm talking about a plant cell. If I can see a plant cell, it's more relatable to me than if I'm reading a book and they are talking about a plant cell. So if I'm watching a video and I'm looking at a plant cell and I'm listening to the audio of that video that is telling me the characteristics, telling me the things I would have read about that plant cell, for me, it's more effective. For you, it might be different. Like I said, you can adapt it. So for me, I'll get a video of plant cell for the first 25 minutes. Or maybe a well-illustrated explainer script. That's why I call it an explainer script. It is well illustrated. The diagrams are there. Detailed explanation and detailed descriptions are there. That's what I'm going to do for the first 25 minutes. So after my first 25 minutes, I'm going to take a break. So what kind of break will I take? I probably maybe just take a walk. and take a cup of water. So my break will be something that allows what I have read to consolidate. I'm not going to pick up my phone for my break. I am activating the brain again. I'm stimulating the brain. By picking up my phone, I'm looking at my screen, I'm scrolling, I am stimulating that brain, so it is not recovering. But if I take a walk, I take a cup of water, I stretch myself, I'm allowing my brain to recover. So the second Pomodoro will be, don't forget that the first one I saw a video or I read something very explanatory. This time around, I'm going to draw and label a plant cell. Now, look at what I'm saying. I'm not saying the second Pomodoro, I'm going to take a book or a video to see the drawing and the labeling of a plant cell. No, I'm going to recall what I did in my first Pomodoro and I'm going to present it in the second Pomodoro. So it's a recall process for me. 25 minutes out, I'm going to do, and I'll take a break. My third Pomodoro, what I'm going to do, I'm going to quiz myself. So I have watched something. Now, the second one, I do it. I'm not writing anything about it, I'm just drawing, trying to recall pictorially every detail I read about in my first Pomodoro. But I'm recalling it and I'm putting it down in form of a diagram. Why diagram? Why diagram? I want to write it down. I'm going to show you in another teaching technique. There's a teaching technique called mind mapping. We're still going to do it after Pomodoro, which will equip you with everything you need such that you can summarize 10 pages into 1 or 2 using diagrams. Because your brain functions more with pictures. I taught you that one of the videos where I taught you about the way your brain functions. Your brain functions more with pictures. That is why it is easier for you to understand an illustrated book than a book that is just full of prints, even for adults. If I'm telling you a story, and as I'm saying it to you, in your mind you are creating pictures. That is how you can remember it again. So, first Pomodoro, I'm studying plant cell. What do? I watch a video or I read an illustrated book about plant cell. I take my break. Second Pomodoro, I don't copy a note. I represent all I read in a diagram. I take a break. In my third Pomodoro, I now go into text. Right? I quiz myself with flashcards, questions that have already been preset, right? I'm going to quiz myself in that. And then I'll put all of that down. That is how I'm going to do it if I'm done studying biology. So let's look at mathematics. So mathematics, I want to study my mathematics now, and I want to do algebra. Algebra, right? So what is the first step I'm going to take if I'm studying algebra in mathematics? My first step, I will not start by solving practice questions. I'm going to start by conceptualizing. What is an algebra and what is it used for? If I ask you right now and I say, oh, you have algebra, you have constant and variables. What in real life do you use that thing for? How many of you can answer? I'm not sure. Maybe one of these days I'm going to do videos on what to use each of these mathematic topics for. So that's the first I'm going to start with. Algebra, what am I trying to interpret using an algebra? Concept of algebra is what I'm going to look at for the first 25 minutes. Concept. What is an algebra? What does a constant stand for? What does a variable stand for? Why do we deal with this variable? How do we do with this variable? That's what I'm going to start with. 25 minutes. After that 5 minutes, I'm going to take a break. I'll walk around, take some water. Don't forget, I'm not going to touch my phone because that is going to further stimulate my brain. And then the third one, the third Pomodoro, I'm going to solve questions. Solve questions. Take my break, and the third one, I'll check answers to my questions. I'll do my correction and retry them. That is how I'm going to do it. For me, if I were using Pomodoro for mathematics, virtually all my mathematics subjects. So let's say I want to study plane shapes. I'm going to start studying plane shapes by learning the area and perimeter of plane shapes. No, my first Pomodoro will be for me to understand what a shape is. This is a square, this is a triangle, this is a rhombus, this is that. I'm going to do that for my first 25 minutes before I take my break. And then my second 25 minutes will be to actually get the formulas. I'll get the formulas for each of those things. So formula for measuring perimeter, formula for measuring the area for each of those shapes. Once I'm done with that, then the third one will now be for me to be practicing questions. Once I'm done with that, the fourth one, I'm going to check whether what I practiced in my third Pomodoro were right or wrong. And then for the wrong ones, I'm going to retry, and then I'm going to check for correction. If I were studying mathematics with Pomodoro, that's exactly how I'm going to do it. Concept, then practice. Concept, practice, checking whether I'm right or wrong, and correction. That is how I'm going to progress. I will not start with practice. I will not start with trying to cram formulas. The reason why we cram formulas is because we don't know why they are there. So you don't know what a pi is. So you are thinking of this formula for finding the area of a circle. You don't know what a pi is. What is a pi? That's why you are cramming what a pi is. If only you had an idea of what a pi really is, you wouldn't have to cram it, right? Concept, practice, checking whether I'm right or wrong, then correction. That's what I'm going to do for mathematics. So let's go to English language. How do I apply Pomodoro to my English language class? My English language personal study time. How do I do that? So let's say I want to talk about writing an essay. So for English, I want to write an essay. When I was still like a full-time 9-to-5 kind of teacher, I know that in English language, in WAEC, people made more mistakes when it comes to essay writing. When it comes to writing things, maybe essay, you're writing your letter or something, and when it comes to summary. So let's use Pomodoro for writing, right? The first thing you will do when you come across, when you want to practice, right? When you want to practice your Pomodoro. Now, let me chip this in. Pomodoro is not ideal when you are writing your exam. You can't do Pomodoro during the exam. Don't forget I said it's a study technique. It's not a technique you use to answer questions in an exam hall. So, your writing of an essay is, you want to study how to write an essay. So the first part is brainstorm and outline. Don't start your essay by writing it. First 25 minutes, brainstorm and outline it. So you're writing an essay on Nigeria. Nigeria, right? So brainstorm. What is Nigeria? Nigeria is in Africa, the most populous black nation in the world. We have 36 states. We have this our president. We have that our system of government, two tiers of government, 3 tiers of government, 3 branches of government, blah blah blah. Structure. Brainstorm. Spend your first 25 minutes to think about what you want to write and outline it. What will be your introduction, in your body, and in your conclusion? Outline it first. Then take a break. Don't go to your phone. Take a walk. Take some water. Let your brain get rejuvenated. Second 25 minutes, what do? Write intro and body. Write your intro, write your body, take a break, and your third Pomodoro, write your conclusion and edit. Now, why am I taking a break between writing my intro and my body and writing my conclusion? Because there are times that after you are writing your intro and your body, when you want to write your conclusion, you might see that you've got some other ideas that you can include in the first 2 parts. That's one major reason. Conclusion in an essay is very important. I'm sure you know that, right? Before you write your conclusion, I would suggest that you take a break. Now, how can I? So now I want to write an essay in an exam hall. What do I do? I'm still going to teach you how you answer how you answer questions in an exam hall. But you want to write an essay, even though you are not using Pomodoro method to do your essay in your exam hall. Please don't 40 minutes to write an essay. 10 minutes use it to outline and conceptualize your essay. Conceptualize and outline. What I mean by conceptualization is that you brainstorm, you think about what you want to write. If you can do that, you don't need more than 30 minutes to write your essay and read it over again. If you can get your first 10 minutes right, for you to brainstorm, conceptualize what you want to write, and outline it. Preparation is very important. All right, so that is how I'm going to do it. If I were using Pomodoro to study my English language, either to do my assignments or for my personal study, that's exactly what I'm going to do, right? Chemistry. How do you use that for chemistry? So now let's talk a bit about chemistry. So I want to study chemistry, and then I want to learn the periodic table. So the periodic table in chemistry. So what am I going to do? Pomodoro 1. I'll memorize trends with mnemonics. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to spend that time to memorize it. So for chemistry, I might not really want to do conceptualization at all, because it's a natural science, right? It's a natural science. So I want to memorize. That's the first thing. Then I'm going to take my 5 minutes break. And then number 2, after I memorize, after I have built that concept in my brain, then I want to consolidate it by probably seeing a video or reading something that is highly, highly illustrated. So you're looking at a text that is well illustrated, or you want to see a video to demonstrate what you learned in Pomodoro 1. What that does, that is consolidates your learning. You can see that for me, if I was using Pomodoro for chemistry, I'm doing like an opposite of what I did when I was doing mathematics. That is how it works for me. It might not work for you like that, but I know that for most people it will work. I don't want to say for everybody. But for virtually everybody I've worked with, they tell me that conceptualization, when it comes to some things that are a bit abstract, works better. When it comes to chemistry that is natural science, you can start with reading, memorization, and then you conceptualize it to consolidate your learning. But when it comes to things that are abstract, a bit abstract, starts with conceptualization. So like I said, my first Pomodoro, if I were using Pomodoro for my chemistry and I want to learn the periodic table, is to memorize the trends with mnemonics. First, I'll take a break, then I'll see a video, I'll take a break, and then I'll practice sample questions. So preset sample questions, I'm going to practice it, and then I'm going to take probably my long break. So I'll take my short break, and then I'll come back to see whether what I practiced, whether I got them right or wrong. I'll do my corrections and all, and then I'll take my long break. So that is how I'm going to structure my four sessions of Pomodoro if I am studying chemistry. So what is the summary of application? Whether I'm studying chemistry, biology, English, mathematics, whatever, what is the summary of application of Pomodoro? Children, repetition with rest equals to long-term learning. Repetition with rest equals to long-term learning. So there are several ways you can achieve long-term learning. You can say information plus emotion, right? Another thing you can say is repetition with rest. When you repeat and repeat and you rest, it always consolidates your learning. So that is equal to long-term learning. So do you have any questions for me? Please don't forget to drop it in the comment section. I look forward to hearing from you. I want to get your feedback. Let me see how this is helping you. Very importantly, if you have topics that are a bit difficult for you to understand, drop them in the comment section. I'm going to run Pomodoro, giving you specific method to use that to solve those topics that you feel are important and are difficult. I'm going to do that for you. So I look forward to seeing you. Don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, drop your comments, your questions, and then watch out for my next video where I'm going to pick a particular topic in any subject I feel like, or I'll pick a particular topic based on your comments, your comment section, and then I'll use Pomodoro for it. It's a specific topic. So if you want me to use for a topic, please drop it in the comment section. Right? Till next time, we'll see. Thank you.